Come on, kids, and turn on the TV. Gonna watch some shot-on video movies. But say 10 a.m. at E. We SOBs who love S.O.V. We SOBs who love S.O.V.
Hey everybody, welcome to the SOBs who love SOV. It has been a hot minute since we have been here, but we are here. I am Becca, joined by my fabulous co-hosts, Maddie Deering.
Hello.
Slade Shepherd.
Hello.
And the incredible Tony Masiello.
Call me Ellie Mae.
And if you couldn't figure it out from, well, the thumbnail that you clicked on, or from what he just said, we are going to be talking about the classic SOV, Redneck Zombies. And when I say classic, I don't even have air quotes on this. This is probably what most people would consider to be like the quintessential SOV. It is, I don't know what the measurement is, but it is considered to be the most successful shot on video film. I'm not sure, like I said, I'm not sure what the criteria for that was, but hey, you know what? I might just be pulling shit out of my ass. Tony can correct me later. But get this, guys. Like, I think we all have SOV in the news. There's a lot of SOV stuff going on right now. So Slade is going to start us out. Slade, what is your SOV news?
Hello. Yes, I've got a buddy of mine on Facebook. He runs Morbid Vision Films. His name is Brian Paulin. He has got a new video out called Morbid Tales. It contains three shot on board video short stories that were shot on a VHS camcorder in the early 90s. If you're not familiar with Brian, he's done movies like Bone Sickness for Unearthed Films, Fetus, Cryptid Plasma, and this one has been in the works for quite some time because he's been doing it's kind of unique in that he has taken all his shot on video films and then done a modern day wraparound with it. So it's pretty cool because Brian's stuff is very imaginative and very, very gory. And he's often known for having a very dark sense of humor and just a black metal feel to not all his films, and their endings are just fucking wild. So I definitely looking forward to picking that up. It's you can pick it up on eBay right now. It's called Morbid Tales. Definitely recommend and checking out his other films too.
So speaking of new SOV, I do have a copy of J.R. Bookwalter's newly remastered Blu-ray of Ozone in my grubby little fingers that we will review. We just have to figure out how to get it to all of us. And then also I saw today Dave Castiglione is putting out a remaster of his film Backwoods Marcy, which we actually have a copy of. So we're gonna have to do that one as well. And there's another new SOV that's come out recently. And when I say new, I mean brand spanking new from a little filmmaker out in Pennsylvania named Maddie Deering. How can people how can people get that said film?
Well, we have almost sold out of DVD copies, but I got plenty of VHS. I'm going to get DVDs restocked in the future, but if you go to the Spirit Animal movie page on Facebook, send me a message or send the page a message, and I can hook you up with a copy. They've been selling really well.
Nudes, she'll send you a VHS.
Yeah, those DVDs, those damn near ran out of stock instantly, didn't they, Manny?
Yeah, I sold most of them the first day. I mean, I sent some to Cast and True too, so, but I mean, I had 100, so they're pretty much gone.
Awesome.
So,
that is awesome.
Yeah, very exciting. And they all come with a scratch and sniff card.
Smell-o-vision.
And the Big O pizza menu, which is super.
Ooh. Man, we're like, ooh, now I'm like going to be at my mailbox every day.
I love my
I
Dingo
just
pizza
sent-
magnet.
I'm glad.
Best movie of 2020.
Yeah,
Yes.
actually,
Best
I
movie
can.
by
It's-
far.
Yeah,
it's-
I mean, honestly, yeah, it is the most enjoyable movie I've seen this year. That's from this year.
You've got
The
on VHS.
comes with what? Yeah, 3 like short films I did, like 2 in high school, 1 in film school,
Oh,
Very
which
cool.
are shot on video.
and then SOVhorror.com has a couple new releases and a couple that are coming out and a couple recent releases. Correct, Tony?
Yeah, so Mr. Ice Cream Man came out about a week ago on DVD. Brand new transfer from the Beta SP. Special, fully loaded special edition. Took us 7 months, but we finally got that one out, so that's available now. And in just a couple weeks, we're putting out 2 by Chris LaMartina. We got his first movie, Amerikill, which he made when he was 14. It's kind of like if 14-year-olds made Scream, pretty much. It's real fun. And then we also got his follow-up, which is a movie called Dead Teenagers, which is an anthology kind of in the vein of Creepshow. So, yeah, more good stuff from sovhorror.com. Oh, I was just going to mention, I wanted to make sure that we've made sure we mentioned that Return the Splatter Farm has been announced, too, to come out soon.
Yes,
And I'm
yes.
very excited about checking out that one. So.
And that Mark Polonia has agreed to come on our podcast. We can do both.
What?
And he will.
Nice.
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
I didn't know it either.
Yeah.
You've been working
sorry.
on it.
Yeah. Mark will,
My
Mark will come on our
God.
podcast and talk about it. And he said when it gets closer, he can get us a screener of that. And we can talk about Splatter Farm since we haven't done that on the show. And we can talk about Splatter. That's going to be epic, kids. Sorry, we haven't been together in a long time. This is like 2 days after our other podcast, I think.
Teenage girl noises.
But no, about SOVhorror.com, I also wanted to say that this past weekend we did some filming on my film, The Embalmers. I had a couple of house guests, Samuel Venisi and Heather Richardson, stayed at my house. And on Saturday night, we were like, oh, what are we going to watch? You know, and I was like, why don't you just go pick something out of my collection, you know, whatever. And Sam focused in, he's like, what is An Evening with My Great Aunt Bedelia? I was like, oh man, Warlock home video.
Nice.
And of course, they're younger than I am. So I had to play them the Henry Lee Summer song first. Cause I'm like, if we're going to watch this or any of the other Warlock movies, you got to know this song. And we watched that movie, and that was probably like my least favorite that I watched when I watched them by myself. And now it is my absolute favorite after watching it with them. We had so much fun that we then put on DBQ and then
Nice.
Swanky Beach. Sam actually borrowed those and Dingleberries and Death o' Lantern because he wanted to show all his friends. And we decided those are all mandatory watches when we all regroup in September to do primary filming.
Oh, that's awesome.
So pick those up from SOVhorror.com.
Yep, and to just say, we do have a few more releases that are coming from the Warlock line. They're not ones that were made by Chris Seaver, but they're ones he released. So Amerikill is actually one of those. And then we've already announced it, so it's not a big surprise. But in September, we'll be putting out Joe Sherlock's Bloody Red Lips of Blood, which was another originally produced for Warlock. So, and we got a couple more ones as well that I'm not going to announce yet. But
stuff,
so
right?
yeah, we got some more Warlock stuff. Oh, we got a ton of stuff. We got Gore Filth, we got some Ron Ford, we got Blood Orgy of the Leather Girls, our first film release. I mean,
The cover of that
15
is
releases, at least 15 releases coming out this year, guys. So stay tuned.
How much time do people have left on The Roommate, Tony?
Oh, The Roommate is out of print on the 13th. So yeah, I urge anyone, if they want to get a copy of The Roommate, it's over at the 13th. We rarely do limited releases, but this one we did do limited. So definitely grab your copy. They're cheap. It's $6. You know, it's only $6, and it comes with a trailer reel of all of our trailers up to that point. So I think it's about a half an hour of SOV trailers.
Rock on.
That's awesome.
All right. And speaking of SOV, because we've now talked about SOV news for 10 minutes. How many people in the year 2020 have talked about SOV news for 10 minutes, except for us? But we are going to switch gears to Redneck Zombies, which came out technically in 1989. Credits stated as 1987. This happens every time we do a movie from, that era. This is Slade's favorite SOV. It might be your favorite movie, huh?
I kind of separate SOV a little bit, but
Okay.
It depends on what day of the week you ask me between this and video violence, but this one more often than not is my
I will
response.
just say that anytime this is like kind of talked about, you get that giddiness, clap your hands and go, Tobacco Man!
Tobacco Man!
I don't ever see that with video violence when we talk about it,
Yeah, it's true. This movie has some of the most creative and imaginative characters. And it's just got this weird where it will take and be just completely jokey and fun, and then all of a sudden it will just shift into this dark place that's just surreal, and I just love it because of that. Just on Tobacco Man, you got to give it 3 stars because just solely on that.
I know. I wished I still had an iron frying pan because I was gonna get a spoon in my frying pan.
Attempt to recreate the sound.
Yes, which I don't think you could, because I don't think that's the sound you would actually get. I think Tobacco Man has his own frying pan. So just kind of I guess just a baseline here. We don't do this a lot, but this is one that a lot of people have seen. So I just kind of want to talk about our initial thoughts and kind of our experience with it. So Slade, when did you first see this? What made you fall in love with it, and why does it remain one of your favorites?
Okay, with this one, I rented it back in the day, and I just thought on my first initial view, I rented it with a bunch of mainstream releases, so it was kind of in the middle. Our local rental place had you could rent 10 movies for $10 for 10 days, and that kind of was the only way that I could take and rent films because we didn't go to town very often because it's 35 minutes away. So I took and watched a bunch of mainstream films. I don't even remember what they were, but I do remember it. And Redneck Zombies. And when I was watching it, I was just shocked at it. It wasn't my first shot on video film that I had seen, but there is something about shot on video when it's done well that it can be very eerie sometimes too, with where it kind of feels like home video,
Right, kind of that snuff film feel, like you're watching something real.
Yeah, and with all the slapstick humor and just the memorable characters and the surprising amount of gore in it, I was just completely sold on it. Now, admittedly, this I feel like it could be tightened up a good bit with editing. Some scenes go on a little bit longer than they should, and the film has faults, but this is something that they, just like we've spoken about before, the amount of editing you have to take and do, and all the care and stuff that you have to take and do if you shot it on video, as opposed to taking in, on film. All the extra work that these people had to do, and I don't even know what the budget of this film is. Do you know, Tony?
I don't recall. No, I know they filmed it over a better part of a year and pretty much paid for most of it out of pocket. I believe it's pretty low budget.
Yeah, I mean, it's just completely impressive that they could take and put this together with the care that they did, and it got worldwide distribution. So that's just not a lot of people can take and say that they're just film that they just scrounged together got worldwide distribution like this. It was a special time back then when we could see movies like this. So, and since then, a little bit of time passed, and our local video store sold off all their VHS, so it was lost to me for a time until I reacquired it when I started collecting movies again, and rediscovered the magic that is Redneck Zombies. So,
Nice.
All right, Maddie, what's your experience with this movie?
I mean, I remember renting it from this local place, Captain Video. It was like an R-rated cut, and it had like pretty much no. But I remember also, and I think it was before I rented the VHS. Like I must have had a Trauma DVD, and I saw the trailer. I was like, "Oh yeah, this looks gory, awesome!" And then I rented the VHS, and I was like, "What the fuck?" So eventually got the DVD, and I mean, I remember really enjoying it. This wasn't the first SOV. I mean, I saw, like, I was really into Trauma too. I mean, I had seen Killer Nerd before this and all that. I was really into Trauma, so it just kind of fit in with all that stuff.
So, Tony, what about you?
Gosh, I remember renting this from Video Country when I was probably, I don't know, 13 or 14 years old. I was, probably a freshman in high school. And it was the old TWE VHS. It was the unrated copy, which was cool. Maddie alluded to that R-rated version. And there's actually a funny story about that I'll just share real quick. Originally, Trauma actually tried to pass off the unrated version as an R cut. And they got in a shit ton of trouble over it, and they had to recall those tapes and re-put it out an actual cut version, R cut, which is that version you saw, Maddie. And so that's pretty funny. But yeah, so rented it, and I mean, immediately was just like, what the hell is this movie? This is amazing. I mean, it's so hilarious. It's, there's so many memorable, great characters like the Tobacco Man and Bob and all the different, rednecks in it. And, tons of great special effects. Pericles Lunes, who was the director on this, he went on to do a lot of effects work for like Trauma and stuff like that. And I mean, it's just such a fun movie. I mean, I fell in love with it immediately. This was one of those movies that, I'd show to my friends who weren't really into horror movies. I kind of say Redneck Zombies is a good like gateway SOV, like a gateway drug to people who aren't in shot on video movies because I think there's a little bit something in there for everyone. It's got gore for gore hounds. It's got a lot of humor for people into humor. And, it's very well produced. It's also very well made for it. The acting's really solid, and love Redneck Zombies. Huge fan.
So
Yeah.
I'm kind of with you. I rented this at Video City for not a sleepover. We were just it was like summertime, hanging out at my friend's house. I was probably 13, 14. And I rented this, and I rented Lunch Meat, which I always thought was an SOV, but apparently it was shot on film, but then transferred directly to video. And
Awesome.
I love Lunch Meat. I love Lunch Meat, but we just kind of decided to have like a zombie, Redneck Zombie sort of day or whatever. And this became one that I rented a lot, not a ton, not all the time, but I would go back to this for a few specific scenes that I will kind of highlight as we go through this. There are a few things that always jump out at me. Like if I could just have the highlights of those few scenes, like, playing every few days in my head, I'd be good. So, and then when Slade and I, one of our bonding moments, when we got our Analog Nightmares book by Richard Mogg, if you don't have that and you're listening to this podcast, there's something wrong with you. It is the Bible of SOV. And I'm flipping through, just kind of randomly flipping through the pages, and I like come upon like the full page of the cover of Redneck Zombies. And I was like, oh, like something clicked in my brain. Like, oh, like I'd kind of forgotten about it. And so yeah, it is great for all the things that we said. We'll just go ahead and start talking about it. So one of the great things, like Slade said, is there are times when this movie, it's comedy, sure, but there are times when it takes itself very seriously. And one is the text crawl at the beginning. I mean, like if you didn't know what you were in for, like if you didn't look at the cover of like, the girl in like the gingham top, like, whatever, you saw this text crawl, you'd be like, oh, like now you'd be Googling on your phone. Oh, did this really happen in 1986 at Fort Dicker?
Fort Dicker.
Fort Dicker? But it looks kind of real.
Yeah, I think
don't forget Full Moon Productions.
Oh, yeah.
Full Moon
always thought that
before
was
a full
weird.
moon.
Right.
I think when I first saw this, I like tried to see if it was the same Full Moon Pictures that did Puppet Master, and no.
Right.
Nope, it is not Charlie Band. It is a different Full Moon. And yes, it is released by Troma, but it was not one of the Troma films. Right? I don't know what classification you would say. Yeah, like they distributed it. Right. Yeah. Right. But yeah, so we've got a drum of this toxic waste missing, and then we go to the, correct me if I'm wrong, the J.L. Leach Institution for the Viciously Abused. I know, I shouldn't laugh at that. So we run into a patient there who's reading Fangoria. He's got a cover with Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, which we're going to see. Hair. Yes, wonderful hair, and he likes to put cigarettes out on his arm. But this is where Tony is going to have to jump in. So he sent us a still of 2 different versions of this movie, of this patient. And they look completely different, and one is superior to the other. So what are those versions, Tony, that you sent us?
Yeah, so there's been a couple DVD releases of this one in the States. There's the original Troma disc, which is just called the Redneck Zombies Director's Cut. And that has the same cover art as the original Troma VHS cover, as well as a TWE VHS cover. And then there was a 20th anniversary edition that was a lot more well distributed. That I believe that was in Walmarts and everything. And that kind of has like
Walmart for like $5.
Mm-hmm. And it came with the CD soundtrack, which is really cool.
Amazing. Soundtrack is amazing.
Soundtrack on this is so good. So good.
But that 20th anniversary edition is actually a different version of the movie. They redid all the titles for the film, so the titles look different. The text crawl, even in the beginning, is a different text. I mean, it's the same substance, but they redid it all. And they color corrected the film. And I think part of the color correction, the idea was, and I think Ed Bishop told me about this when I interviewed him. Ed Bishop, just for people who doesn't know, he's credited as I think it's P. Floyd Piranha, but he plays Junior in the film, and he's also the co-writer, co-producer of the film, along with Pericles Lunes, the director, who plays Ellie Mae. And I believe he told me part of the reason is they film looked the movie to help them get a wider distribution on it. And I think that was part of the deal with Walmart and all of that. So they kind of gave it this fake film look process, which really just kind of, it really screwed up the color. It's not as sharp. To me, it's a far inferior print of the movie. So, I mean, if you're a fan or you're just trying to get a copy, you're interested in checking it out after you listen to this episode, I definitely recommend getting the original Troma DVD. Stay away from that 20th anniversary edition if you can. I think they're about the same price online. So, get that superior version for sure.
Yeah. And there is something, we've all kind of alluded to this either in this podcast or, other shows that we've done. But there is something about like the color and the quality of VHS that like is unmistakable. And that's sometimes part of the charm. And so in looking at those 2 screenshots that you sent, it's like they tried to make it more like quote unquote cinematic. And I can't imagine things like Bob's trip scene. Like, how's that going to look if it's more cinematic? Like, I just don't even want to see it that way.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, that was really big, too, in the 90s. You saw a lot of companies doing that. I mean, you were talking about Ozone earlier. That's one of those movies that was film looked. There was this film look process that they used to use, especially in the 90s. Dead Alive Productions did it a lot, too. You see it on that original Mr. Ice Cream Man trailer they did. It's a fake film looked. And, all it does is make the movie look more muddy. It makes the blacks almost too black, adds a lot of fake film grain. And overall, if you're a picture snob, it definitely degrades the image. So, I like to see the best image possible. And I say, hey, we love shot on video, so we love the aesthetic and the look of it. Don't put all that shitty fake film look on it.
Yeah, exactly. We want our shitty look. We want our shitty look. So this has got a Citizen Kane sort of structure to it. Maybe I'm the only person who's ever compared this to Citizen Kane. But but we have these doctors who are talking about the patient, who happens to be our final girl, and all the stuff that she went through. And so we are at the end of the movie after everything that's happened. We get a little like montage of like what's happened to poor Lisa. It's landed her in this like shitty ass institution. Yeah, so we kind of know from the very get-go what's going to happen, sort of. And it doesn't really matter because we've all seen it a million times anyway. So the doctors, I don't know if you guys looked at the credits, but like one of them is called like Dr. Kildare.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So very like obvious thing, you know, and let's go play at your club. Mine doesn't allow Jews.
Yeah, mine doesn't allow Jews. I mean, that kind of gives you the mood of the movie immediately, you know, if you're going to the first 5 minutes and the title hasn't told you as much. I mean, once you hear that line, you're like, okay, I know what I'm getting into now with this.
Yeah, we go straight into the theme song, which we'll have to talk about a little bit here. We did a little bit. The soundtrack to this is fan-fucking-tastic.
So good.
Yeah.
Okay, Slade, this is where you break into song, I thought.
My baby left me,
Left me.
and I'm so blue.
So blue.
My heart is aching.
Heart is aching.
My
My
brain
is goo.
Oh, it's just it's fantastic. And
You know, the line I really like is, what is it? Here, I wrote it down. Oh, bitch, without you, my life's doo-doo. I'm just a blue dick redneck zombie without you.
Oh man, and all of them are self-referential to the movie. Now that was called, I think, Redneck Zombie Love Theme or something.
Probably.
Yeah, but they all have like Redneck Zombie in them. They are like, and I'm a sucker for that. Anybody who knows me knows I'm a sucker for a self-referential theme song, and this one's got like 4 or 5. We've got a guy who's a soldier driving in a Jeep, smoking a joint, and with the dog, and he's of course responsible for delivering this 1 can of toxic goo to some like remote area that it's supposed to be like high class, top secret, and it's just strapped on the back of this Jeep.
You want some of this, Haas?
I love that the dog has sunglasses on.
yes,
Right?
yeah,
Adorable.
And like one of those, I don't even know what we used to call them, but like the sunglass like holder things, like the things that went around your neck and like strapped around. He doesn't want to lose his glasses. Come on.
Oh, for sure.
All
the cool dogs are wearing them. I mean,
that's right. All the cool dogs who say no to drugs.
right.
and he burps like a human.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
Love it. Oh, the radio thing, when he's turning the radio and he gets to the religious broadcast. Oh my God.
Lord.
Oh Lord is right.
Yep. That's
Need to
totally
report
a lot of churches
that.
around here.
Yes. Yeah. I'm sure where he was at, that is probably a very common broadcast. But we have Ferd Mertz, who finds the can, or what is that called? Barrel. Right? Barrel. There we go. Yeah.
And let's take a moment to take and recognize how fucking quotable this movie is.
Oh,
God.
Oh, for sure.
I do it on a weekly basis.
Do
don't
not
need no
open till
revenue.
Christmas.
Don't need no revenuers. Poke around.
Yeah, there's so many great one-liners. I mean, every 5 minutes you have an amazing one-liner in this film. So quotable.
Yeah, and that's what I'm waiting for you, Slade. I feel like every time I say something, you should just jump in with a quote. You know, like
Oh God, it's shit on toadstool.
Yeah. So he finds that barrel and he reads it, and do not
open till Christmas.
Just
I
saying.
figured
that he's got his.
Read the writing on barrel, so he just made it up.
Oh, well, yeah, no. I mean, that's what he thought it said, but he thought it said, do not open till Christmas.
That he's forced to take.
I mean, it didn't say
break
that?
for his life.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tony. Is this where you learned to read?
Well, I am from California.
California is the place you ought to be, which there are quite a few Beverly Hillbillies references in here, including we get to the family that shows up. Jed, Jethro, Junior, Billy Bob, I mean Ellie Mae.
Yep.
You got everything but Granny.
Yep.
And poor Ferd has to take and barter off this new still for his life because he dropped his gun and it went off 3 or 4 times and shut up there still, which explains why they're angry at him. And
It's a foreign thing. It's a new foreign job.
Yeah, foreign job.
European jobs.
Yeah, there we go. Wow, I was
Fast.
He classed it up from what I was saying, even.
It's yellow. Fast.
Oh, but I love it when he tells him, "We're gonna blow you to where the sun don't shine." Antarctica.
Antarctica?
They got no sun in Antarctica. They just got those little funny penguins walking around.
Yep.
Oh, we might just
Polar bears. Arr.
We might just be like rehashing the whole movie as we go on. But I think I've got two coin toss favorite characters. One would be Ellie Mae, who is actually the director.
Yep.
And then also later we're going to have Bob. So those are my two.
Oh,
favorites.
yeah.
So what are your guys' favorite characters in this?
Mine's definitely Bob. Bob is my favorite character as well. And after that, it'd be the Tobacco Man. I got 3, and then I'd say Junior.
Okay.
I really like Junior a lot as well.
I'd say Bob.
Tobacco Man, Bob, and Ferd in that order.
All right. Oh man, I'm the only one who has Ellie Mae on my list. Oh my
There's so
God.
many good characters,
There
though.
are.
I mean,
Yeah.
The fact that we know all their names, and
Right.
it's got a fairly large cast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially for an SOV. Yeah, it's a very
Yeah.
large cast.
Yeah. Of course, when Ferd Mertz has FM painted on the front of his overalls, it's hard to forget his name. Okay, so did you guys actually know? I don't think this is like random trivia. I think this is pretty like well known, but so Ellie Mae's supposed to move it, and so Pericles, I can't say his last name. Was it Lunes?
Lunes. Yeah.
Okay, he picked up the barrel right in the movie or whatever. Apparently, he got a concussion when he dropped it.
I was watching the commentary earlier and heard that.
Ah, man, I didn't watch the commentary. I should have watched the commentary.
I watched half of it, but I ran out of time. But I did, yeah.
Man.
I love that line before, too, Pa, what you think is in there? My guess is bleach, iodine, fertilizer. And then Junior's like, oh, I like fertilizer.
We all do, Junior. We all do.
looks like fertilizer. Smells like iodine with a piss of bleach in it. Well, it better taste good.
Corn squeezing.
It better taste good because you got it all over the corn squeezing on her ass.
Squeezins? I come from the Midwest, and I don't even know what corn squeezins are.
That's what they use to ferment, right?
Yep.
Is that it? Okay. Okay. I'm like, I guess I come from the puritanical part of the Midwest where we don't use squeezins. We just use the husk and the corn. Anyway, so one of the lines too I love is that like with Ellie Mae saying, "Call me Ellie Mae," whatever, and he says, "I blame it on getting that satellite
television."
Yeah.
Oh.
You must take after your mother's side of the family, boy.
Oh my God. So here comes, Slade, probably everybody's favorite part.
Oh, here we go.
Yep.
Dong,
Ding, ding.
dong.
For some odd reason, they hear a pan being struck in the middle of the woods, and they know immediately that the tobacco man is near, and they need their daddy's money. Dip, we want dip and plate for
We
daddy's
want
pop. So we're taking it as they run into this field with this. The truck doesn't look like it runs at all. I don't know.
It may not have.
I think they found just a random truck just sitting out in the field and be like, "Yep, that's it." And we're introduced to the Tobacco Man, who is my favorite character in this fucking film because he is a large man with a burlap sack on his head with a hole cut out and obviously hideously deformed underneath it with looks like blood around his mouth. I'm guessing that's
There's
what it is.
Yeah, and there's like skin coming off his eye and shit. Yeah, he looks like he's pretty gnarly underneath that.
Yeah, what'll it be today, boys? I got dip for the gum, snuff for the nose. I got roll your owns and smokes, and the newfangled machine that rolls them for you. Even got pellets. Tastes like licorice. Just let them dissolve.
Okay.
Don't have to spit them out.
Okay, what are those? I know what everything else is. Is that really a thing?
I seem to remember. Yeah, there's like little pouches that you just take and put in, and they just kind of dissolve. I can't recall exactly what it is. I have to take a look that up because that had me curious too on a rewatch.
I know, like when I was like, is that technology that we don't have today that tastes like licorice? Like, okay.
They good for youngins just like you.
Like you. And this is one of those times where it gets so freaking weird.
Dark.
Yeah, because the guys, they're not kids. I mean, they are man children. But it's like the ice cream man, obviously, is what it's supposed to be. But he is like what you would think would be the killer in this freaking movie.
Mm-hmm.
Any other movie, he would be the killer. And in
He's got a great speech, too, right?
I was going to say, and in this movie, he is kind of the killer because of his speech, right?
I actually wrote down the speech if you guys.
Oh, yes. Please do, Tony.
I don't know the speech by heart, but I know that first, like that opening.
I always have trouble understanding him, to be honest. I don't know if it's the masterpiece or what.
Well,
He's got that weird voice processor on him.
Kind of
modulates a bit too much. I always have had trouble understanding.
It wouldn't be an SOV if there wasn't someone talking under a shitty voice processor.
That's like check one off on Luke's SOV bingo card.
You need a bingo card now.
Yes, we do.
So yeah, he gives them all their dip and stuff, and then he's like, "Run along now, boys. I know you like my dip, but dark times are coming. You'll like my dip for a long time. You'll be loving it for the rest of your lives. And someday you want to stop, but you won't be able to. Your gums will start hurting, start bleeding. They'll wear down and show the bottoms of your teeth. Then your teeth will fall out. You'll cry, but you won't stop. You'll just keep on dipping, packing, and dipping. Your mouth will start hurting, start burning. It will grow and get out of shape, and you'll go to one of them big city doctors, and they'll cut half your face off. It'll happen. It'll kill you, sorry shit. But then your dip will still be in your mouth, laughing. Ha 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 ha. Dark times are coming. Dark times.
Oh, bravo!
You'll
Tony,
see.
If there's a remake of Redneck Zombies, you're playing Tobacco.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I don't know. I would let Slade do that.
If you think about it, like, he's like the worst salesperson ever. I mean, not that these guys are listening, but like basically like, I'm going to sell you this shit and it's going to ruin your life.
He's like the equivalent of those European cigarette ads where it shows the
this will kill you.
Cancer lung. Well, it's definitely one of those scenes that, you know, and I think why it sticks out so much, and it's kind of like what we were alluding to earlier, is this movie's obviously a very silly kind of slapsticky comedy, but then you have a scene like this, which is kind of dark and like almost pushing morals on its audience, you know, about the dangers of tobacco. You know, it's so random and weird. It's the type of scene you only get in shot on video movies, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it really feels like one of those anti-smoking ads they have now where they try to like appeal to the younger crowd and try to make it look like it's something cool, like a horror movie or something. And then it ends up being like, oh, you really shouldn't smoke.
I think a fucking guy like Tobacco Man walking into my school would be a hell of a lot more fucking effective than Dare would be. See this, boys? This is where a big city doctor could have my fucking face off.
Right.
Yeah,
that's the one that's the one that sticks with me is they'll send you to one of them big city hospitals where they'll cut half your fucking face off. Oh yeah. Oh my god.
Oh.
But
he doesn't have enough screen time in this fucking movie.
No, he doesn't. Justice for Tobacco Man.
He needs his own movie.
Yes, he needs a spinoff. Oh yeah, he's so good. He's so good. But yeah, this movie obviously through the whole thing, or through most of it, kind of is an homage to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like at least loosely. But then Ellie Mae picks up a hitchhiker, and it's just flat out homage.
Yeah.
You like to shave? Me and my brother give haircuts, shave real good.
Real good.
Hands him a Polaroid. I got this razor.
What about those electric razors?
Oh, no,
they
no
no
they
good.
ain't good. They ain't no good.
Get you shave and a haircut real good.
God. And I will say Ellie Mae does a great Franklin in that. Well, I don't know about that. Like, I love it.
Missed our
But-
campers though.
Yeah, well, yeah, we kind of like we did miss our campers. Yeah, our wayward group of I won't say youth, of varying ages, which we don't really ever figure out why they're all together and why they're out there, do we?
They needed a pond to piss in.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yes, and Bob does it for a very long time. Oh, man. Okay, so every time I watch this, and I don't know the guy's name because this was not my jam, but he kind of reminds me like he's trying to be a little like the one dude from Police Academy. The guy who makes all the noises. I don't know anybody in that movie. Like, I've seen like 5 minutes of that. But yeah, there's like the one guy who makes like the noises and his eyeballs are really big. I always kind of feel like maybe he took a little bit of a cue from that guy.
Oh god, that's gonna kill me.
I know. I'm like, I don't even know who the main Steve Guttenberg, maybe one of the main people in one of those movies.
Yeah,
I don't
Guttenberg
know.
was a star though.
I'm like, I have never seen one all the way through.
It was that's I remember the actor. It's Michael Winslow. I don't remember.
There we go.
Because he's also in the Cheech and Chong films. He's in Nice Dreams, I believe.
Yeah, that's one of those movies that other people that I knew would quote them. They would quote it incessantly, and I'd just be like, "Hey, could we watch Lunch Meat again?" You know, like, fuck Revenge of the Nerds. We're watching Redneck Zombies, everybody, or Fleshing Nerds.
That's the nerds.
I love that movie. I do love that movie.
Oh yeah, classic.
But I was
Just like
always the one who I was always the one who like drove us back around to like, you know, really bad, you know, slashers or SOVs.
I was like that too. Like, let's watch Bad Taste.
Yeah, like we've watched a movie that was funny and high budget. Now let's change gears a little bit, kids.
Yep.
just like Tony was taking and saying earlier, I feel like this movie, whenever I take and show it to people, like I know that is a good qualify, or like it'll give me a good gauge on whether or not they'll like any other shot on video films, because I feel like if you don't like this or video violence, you're probably not going to like a lot of the other stuff. It's just not going to gel with you.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good barometer because it has a good amount of comedy, which is usually like the kind of thing that can bring non-horror fans like around.
Sure.
I'm trying to think of some others, but yeah, like, I mean, I thought The Video Dead was going to be one.
Oh,
Video
man.
That's awesome.
That's film, though. That's
Okay.
That's another one that takes and bridges the gap between like comedy and like actual like dark scenes.
Okay, well,
really
I did that with another podcast. Like, they had a whole list of movies, and they were like, we're looking for people to, like, you know, guest on it. And I'm like, oh, I'll do Video Dead. And I think I did it right after our last podcast. And I got on there, and like, even the girl who had picked it, who is my age, and she had like, her mom like worked a mom and pop video store like her whole childhood. So she rented all this crap when she was like, when she was the same time we were renting it. And like, I was the only one who really genuinely liked it. And I was like, what? I'm like, you don't think that's cool?
Really?
When like, you know, they've got the gutted out TV, and like, you know, the quote unquote zombie is like coming up out of the TV with like the fog and stuff. I'm like, these are like, I guess, I don't know. They all were like, yeah, we love low budget stuff, but blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you don't see like the creativity in this? You don't see like, yeah, I didn't get it.
Yeah, man, nearly asphyxiated. It was from when he's coming out of that television, because it was liquid,
like nitrogen.
Yeah, and it just killed all the oxygen. He just suffering for the art.
Yeah, I did, but anyway, getting off of that. But yeah, like I kind of thought that was one like you could show somebody that wasn't really into like low budget horror of that time, and they would be like, oh, this is kind of cool. You know, there's some cool effects and whatever. Anyway, we're back to our campers. Sorry, we're getting back to our movie.
They finally found the trail to take in.
The blob on the map.
This scroll must be the fence. I feel like they could have done that scene a little bit better, because it's just like okay, we got to figure out some way to get them. It's just very awkward. Although I do like really
they should have shown the map, and it should have been like a Cap'n Crunch like treasure map.
I do like a lot of the lines out of this, though. It's like, eat me, Bob.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't do that.
Yeah.
And every time I watch this, I feel like I should write down every saying on Andy's shirts. Because he has like 10 shirts on in the whole movie. And even at one point, there's one.
It's like my favorite gag in the movie. He's always got a different T-shirt on with a stupid saying.
Well, and then even spoiler alert, when Teresa dies and she's got on a T-shirt that has a saying, he finds her. He's like, "Hey, that's my T-shirt."
Yeah.
Nobody can have a cool saying shirt except for me.
For Andy, yep.
And when he's spraying himself off, and the older guy comes over and starts talking to him, and he's just like, the upper, God, what is the fucking line? The stints off you could take and knock the Terminator off a shit wagon.
Then they get around the campfire, and Wilbur, the leader, he's got like a bag of pot, you know, and he's like, nothing but the best, you know, and they're like, what, Colombian, Jamaican? He's like, no, nothing but the best.
Jersey.
New Jersey.
Yeah.
I recently watched another movie where New Jersey was supposed to be like the hot spot for something. I've got to remember what that was, but
I highly doubt it's pot.
I just think it was because Trumaville, New Jersey, but
maybe.
I love how Bob is pissing into the pond too, and just like, "Ooh, it's cold." Indeed.
Yes, this water's cold too.
Like, How the fuck can you gauge that? I don't.
The stream
Bob's
must be
amazing.
bouncing back at him.
The arch on his stream is so good too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's What's
What
okay?
I love though about the weed scene is so they intercut that with the rednecks drinking the moonshine into the kind of zombie transformation scene, which I thought was a really clever, creative cutting choice.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously the rednecks are drinking their green moonshine, and they're having a trip of their own. But obviously, New Jersey does have some really good pot because they are all tripping balls over at the campsite.
Yeah.
Well, did you see how many papers it took them to roll that joint? I mean, gosh, like
do you
some
call
weed with your paper,
I call this a Texas torpedo. Is that what he said?
something like that.
But I didn't write down a lot of the things that they said, like when they were stoned. But like a lot of they had some funny things. Like I know when he they just break into like a middle of a story, and he's like, and she said 3 inches, and I said, yeah, 3 inches from the ground.
The floor.
Yes.
And they die laughing.
Hey, I bet they're never gonna doubt Wilbur's pot buying abilities ever again. Well, they're not gonna have a chance to. But
I was gonna say that.
Oh God, can we talk about Ellie Mae's deliveries?
yeah, so I have them written down, and I have like a 1 circle, 2 circle, 3 circle, 4 circle. Yes. So Ellie Mae is delivering said moonshine so that we can get some more redneck zombies. And yes, the first one is I like knockers.
Yeah, I like knockers too.
You.
Somebody's
Knocking at the
knocking.
door.
Yeah, I like knockers too.
No shit, weed. Somebody's knocking at the door.
Look at the door. And that music
goofy
over
music
the
that's playing.
scene.
Yeah, it's like lots of squeaking noises, very much like watching like fucking Kentucky Fried Movie or something with like the fucking like whipped cream and the cherry on the nipples, and then the nipples just feel like.
And the commentary, they were saying how they were like looking for an opportunity to have nudity in the movie, probably because trauma, and
Right.
that was
Well,
who they found.
That was what they got. True, because there is no other like none of the like we've got the one couple of the campers like Bob and Teresa are a couple, but yeah, that's about all we've got is potential for like anything like that. Yeah, and they don't live long enough, or well, that doesn't whatever spoilers. But the second delivery is one of the scenes that made me rent this movie over and fucking over. So we got the lady with the shower cap, bathrobe, whatever, and she's like giving him shit because he's late.
And
For her
Little Fester.
Baby Fester, who is actually the director's son. Baby
Yeah,
Fester.
I heard that in the commentary too.
Yeah. So the reveal is ingenious when she's just like, okay, you just think it's her. She's like, okay, I'm gonna forgive you this time, blah blah blah. Then it's like it pans out, and that kid's standing in the freaking washer, and she pours moonshine in its bottle.
I mean, it works. I guess is the
Amazing.
Is that a hillbilly playpen?
It must be like it's even got fun time spin action.
And this is probably one of the first movies with a zombie baby. I mean, you do get the zombie baby payoff later,
Uh-huh. Yeah, you get kind of all ages because we've also got the other two kids who are
The little kids, yeah.
Yeah, they're like maybe 10, 11, 12. Yeah.
The filthy children coming out of the fucking.
My God, I love that, and I love they even put like the baby is like drinking the bottle, and they even try to put like a little cry in, but the baby's obviously drinking it like just fine. Everybody else is like, baby's drinking it just fine, but they have to like make it seem like the baby is like reacting. But I think it would have been more funny if the baby was like, like the baby's the only one who can take the moonshine.
And what about the freelance butcher scene? I mean, that's quite a
Oh,
scene.
well,
that
That is
yeah.
that's another
legitimately
dark.
the creepiest part of the whole movie.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
So that's
Like
our
that-
fourth delivery. Yeah, we talked a little bit about the cellar kids. There's not a whole lot to talk about them, but these kids that come out of the cellar and they dare each other to drink it. But yeah, we get to the butcher house. Holy shit.
What I love about
That-
freelance butcher, there's a sign that says
It's
freelance butcher.
As
And that
opposed to-
footage, I really still wonder what the hell are they doing to those chicks?
Okay, I do know one thing, and I don't know why, but like I do know that they like are sand off their beaks. I think they're just they're throwing.
Is that what
them.
it is? Ugh.
Yes.
Yeah.
It looks like
Yeah.
they're burning it or scalding them. Yeah,
I
I
think
mean, it's
so they
Yeah,
don't
I mean
attack
it might
each
be
other,
like a
or-
burning like or whatever, but they're taking like the point off of their beaks.
oh gosh.
Yeah, I mean, because some of that was the most disturbing part of the movie
Oh, it's totally disturbing. Yeah.
because it looks almost like one of those cut-in videos that Mr. Rogers would play, except for like not good ones. You know, like what happened to going to the Crayola factory, Mr. Rogers?
Yeah,
You got the psycho with the girl tied up, and the real kind of slow motion shots.
yeah, it just the weird, like the music in this, like where it swells, and it's got almost like a sci-fi feel to it at times. It's just, it's that scene in particular was one. Like Maddie said, the creepiest in the movie.
Yeah, and then like the butcher comes out and he doesn't have on what you would think he'd have on, like the big like butcher like leather big apron. He has on like a frilly like housewife apron.
And he's
Hey,
all
Jake.
friendly, like, "Oh, hey."
Ugh.
But even if you
Oops,
notice,
sorry.
Ellie Mae is a little like put off by
Freaked
him.
out.
Yeah.
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 Like she's even kind of like, and it's like, I gotta go get you some money. Okay. And like Ellie Mae kind of is almost like, I mean, Ellie Mae is so freaking stupid and oblivious. And Ellie Mae has a slight problem with this. That means big red flag for the rest of us, right?
Okay, Jake. See you later.
See you later.
That poor girl, yeah, she's just like really? Like, I mean, and you can tell she's trying to plead with him, but Ellie Mae is just like, yeah, I mean, like, there's this slight, like, this isn't quite right, but I got other deliveries to make, everybody. Oh, that is hey, and I never noticed, I haven't paid attention, and I just now thought of this. Does that girl show up as a zombie later? I mean, I'm sure that actress
I'm not sure.
shows up as a zombie later.
I
You
know
know.
Jake did.
Oh.
But I didn't ever I don't know if I ever saw like a zombie with like duct tape on, or if it was like, like that character.
Yeah, I don't recall that.
Would have been kind of funny if they had little zombie chicks coming out too.
Oh, that would have been great.
But no, the animals don't get to be zombies because we've got Mama with her cute piglet Perky.
Perky.
Oh,
The baby-
Perky.
That's my favorite character.
Oh, I love Perky. And I love that
fun.
she's just like, Perky, don't worry, I won't put you in this frying pan.
That poor piglet's uncomfortable the entire
it's-
time.
It seems so
I don't
wants to
think
not be
that-
there.
I don't think that Perky was her pig. Just saying. You can tell like when somebody's dog is their dog. Like Roxy. I'm so upset I didn't get to meet Roxy from Spirit Animal. But like
She'll
you can
be
tell,
back. She'll
yeah.
meet her. Play.
But like you can tell when somebody's just like, here's my pig. It can be the movie. And it's like, no, I've been here before.
Either that, or they're like, she's not effective enough actress on her own. We need a prop.
Yes, she
Oh,
needs a
a
cute
pig.
pig. Yes, that wig is not doing it for her. But within all of these deliveries, of course, we have the waking up of the kids, sort of, which I think it's funny because like they set up camp before they got stoned, but like all they have is like a like a dome tent that's maybe like a 2-person tent, a pup tent that's like deflated that maybe would hold 1 person. And then they all have fallen asleep around the campfire with no sleeping bags. Again, I can get the just falling asleep around the campfire with no sleeping bags kind of thing because they got really stoned. But I mean, like, that's all the tents that you brought was like enough for 3 out of what, 8 of you?
Yeah, it's not
Low
gonna
budget.
rain.
Low budget.
It's not
Hey.
gonna rain.
You let
No.
that stuff go.
No, and those yellow and orange leaves don't signify that it's cold as shit.
Oh, and we have the boom. We have the guest appearance of the boom mic in the.
Oh yeah.
I never noticed that. What the
Yes.
hell?
Wait, where is
Yep.
this? Yeah, I'm with Maddie. I've
Yeah.
never noticed that.
It's in that morning scene. Yeah, you
It's in the
can
morning
see the
scene.
boom mic in one of the
Oh.
wide shots.
Man.
You missed
Damn.
the cameo.
You know,
The cameo.
so I just side story.
Check off your SOV bingo card, boom mic.
Yeah, boom
Boom
mic.
mic.
So we just did filming, like I said, for my film over the weekend. Like the first shot that we got, well, second shot that we got, we were like filming in front of my car. And, it looked great. We had it framed all well. It was like just perfectly overcast, blah, 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 whatever. And then like I went back to look at the footage to edit like yesterday. And I sent like a screenshot to my DP and I'm like, how did we like miss this? You can see the boom mic reflection in the car window, like
Oh.
clear as fucking
That's
day.
the worst.
Oh.
Okay, but we shot in 4K, so I can like crop it and everything. But I'm like, okay, this is going in our wall of shame, dude. Because like, how do we both we have 2 monitors, 2 people looking at the same thing, and we totally missed it.
It happens.
It happens, yeah.
We didn't use a boom mic. in
That's why you
Syria.
don't have characters wear
So,
glasses
so-
either.
No, see, Maddie, you have the magical thing. Don't use a boom mic, and there won't be a boom mic in your shot.
Yeah.
Throw all that audio in later.
But no, we kind of okay. So going back, we kind of missed the girls are getting up and Femme Mullet, which I think her name is Sally, but I call her Femme Mullet here. She gets up to take a shit.
Is she credited as like Boo Teasdale or something like that in the movie?
She really?
I think when I was looking it up, it's she's credited as.
Oh my god, I gotta look this up. Well, okay, everybody, like you feel like most of the people in this kind of used aliases. Like one of the guys who was credited as a writer, I will tell you here in a second, is like
Well, the writer is
Doofy.
it's Zoofeet, which is Pericles Loonies, and then P. Floyd Piranha, which is Ed Bishop, and they're pretty much the guys who are
Yeah,
responsible for
Boo
making the movie.
Teasdale. I mean, that just sounds like, you know what? It's probably like freaking Susan Sarandon, but like I gotta use an alias, guys, or else I'm not gonna get my SAG credits for this. Like
I need
I
to make rent this month.
yeah. Hey, we've all been there.
Ferd Mertz's pseudonym is really funny too. It's Bucky Santini.
You get the impression that none of the people involved in this wanted to admit they were involved in this.
And actually, a side note, there's actually a Redneck Zombies group on Facebook, and a ton of the cast and crew members are part of the group. And it's really cool. People share memorabilia and talk stories about it all the time. So yeah, check it out. I mean,
How did
the guy
I not know
Ferd
this?
Mertz, for example, Ferd Mertz has lost like a ton of weight. Like he's like super skinny and a whole bunch of the Redneck
Holy
Zombies group.
shit!
Look it up.
Redneck Zombies group, only 396 members. I kind of feel like it's like low. Why isn't it letting me join?
Because people don't
It
have
might
good
be
taste.
private.
for
I
Oh,
might
that.
be-
here we go.
I
No,
might
no,
be
no.
the
Here we go.
secret
Here we go. Oh my God, my membership is pending. Oh yes, yes. God, that made my day. But so Teresa, the black girl, she gets up. She has like the best shirt on, of course.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Sandy shirt says, "Live fast, die young, leave a beautiful
Beautiful
corpse."
Corpse.
Perfect.
If there was anything more prophetic ever in the world, you tell me. But yeah, so okay, so like I said, we're going back. So the femme mullet finds the moonshine and Jethro zombie, and we have like a pretty awesome scalping.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
I think
Eats
it's
the scalp.
yeah, yes, yeah. He chews on it like it. He doesn't just eat it like it. He savors that scalp.
I want to say that the enthusiasm of the guy playing the zombie in that particular scene, like, was just, he really sold it. Like, he's a fucking
it's great.
intense, especially during the chase scene later.
Yes.
And did you guys get a vibe? Like, I get a vibe from that particular zombie, from that he kind of, his makeup and everything at times, it really reminds me of that main zombie from Zombie that you see on the cover.
Oh yeah,
It kind of has a similar feel and look.
Yeah.
There's even a shot that totally reminds me of that scene from Zombie. And
There's
Yeah.
there's a thing that they kind of do with all of them. They have this like almost crunchy white makeup on. But yeah, feels like there's something different about these zombies. But yeah, I get what
it
you're
feels
saying.
more gross than dead. Like, just
Yeah, like stuff's gonna fall off his face onto you, and you're more worried about that.
yeah. And with these zombies, like, their ability to take and eat everything down to the belt line is
yes.
They don't like legs. No,
they don't
No.
like
They'll
legs.
they will eat everything off your head and your eyeballs, but they will not touch your fucking thighs. Uh-uh.
No butt steak for them.
But so I think it's funny when Teresa, the black girl, finds Femme Mullet, Sally, and she runs off and then runs into Ferd Mertz and is trying to like tell him like, oh my God, there's this dude chasing me. And all Ferd is like, oh, wait, you're in shock. Okay.
Got to loosen your clothes.
What are you doing alone in the forest by yourself?
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, so, but he runs away and finds the moonshine and the half body. This is one of my favorite lines. At least I don't have to put a bag over the head
Bag on
of
their
this
head
one.
this time.
That's definitely one of my favorite moments of the whole. Hope I don't go blind.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That's so good. But just the absurdity of that, where she's just like pointing, and he's just like, oh, clearly you're in shock. That is one of those great. It is dark and hilarious.
This film goes dark places.
It does. But I think it should. I think any kind of like zombie movie. I mean, if you think about it, like Shaun of the Dead, which is to me one of the like best like zombie parody comedy movies. It has dark moments, and I think that's what you need. Like anything that's just flat out like slapstick, that just ignores the fact that people are dying, it loses me a little bit.
It just becomes a comedy.
Yeah.
Instead of horror comedy.
Yeah, and to have just, I mean, if you're in any situation, like if you're in a really bad situation, somebody's going to be adding levity, you know? And so just go with that, you know, just go with the levity of the situation, you know, the things that you can laugh at or whatever. But yeah, it needs to be horror. All in all, this is.
The scene taking and coming up with the captain taking and reaming out the guy who lost the barrel is fucking great. His facial expressions make me laugh even to this
Oh.
Like a cartoon.
Hey,
It's like a Tex Avery cartoon.
Yes, he's like Beetle Bailey's boss or sergeant or whatever. Like, just so mad, so angry. I love it. I don't understand like why why the one soldier who lost the canister, the barrel, I keep calling it a canister, why he's like, hey, can I take some in? He's like, you could take the whole army, whatever. And then they end up with like two dudes
Two guys.
in another one of these like unprotected Jeeps.
This actually leads to my favorite line of the movie, which is when, you know, he's got the two other troops, and they see the zombies, and there's the one character who's kind of gay who starts going towards the zombies. Who's like, hey, and then he's like, anyone for water sports? And that's probably the line I quote all the time. Anyone for water sports?
Hey there. Yeah. Oh God, I love.
You ever
that.
see Deliverance?
You ever see Deliverance? Right.
Doesn't he say, "Oh, a native, hello"?
Oh,
Yes,
the
exactly,
the zombies way back like.
Remember.
Uh-huh.
So funny.
And I want to know, like, I wish I would have listened to commentary. I don't own this because I suck, and now I'm gonna have to get it. I know, I suck. But I wanted to listen to the commentary, but I feel like some of that stuff, like, you know, with the Ellie Mae and like this, I think there's like a statement to be made of some sort. But I'm like, I wanted to know what it was, but hey, I suck. I'm watching it on Prime. I paid $3 to watch it on Prime, and I could have paid $12 and gotten that DVD. Priority.
The one thing is, though, is that original DVD does not have a commentary, I believe. So you only get a commentary on that 20th anniversary DVD.
Jesus Christ, you've really got to you've really got to stock.
So you almost need both versions if you want the
Yeah.
commentary.
It's a different trauma intro too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
No one needs a trauma.
It's not dun 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 like the trauma.
Oh, it's got that, but it's got like the new one's
Lloyd
got
Kaufman intro. Yeah.
the old one's got like a blue zombie guy, I think, that just introduces the movie, and then the new one's got like Lloyd and Pericles on it.
Yeah. So in the commentary, actually, like when you're talking about the kid in the washer earlier, they said that the date at the beginning of the movie is actually the kid's birthday,
Oh,
which is pretty cool.
Oh.
yeah. Happy birthday, get in a washer, be in a movie, drink some. Hey, you know what? That was probably like ecto, whatever. What was that called? The high
Ecto
speed.
Cooler.
Yeah, ecto cooler. Yeah.
Cooler.
Like, here you go.
We can't afford to go to the carnival, but here's a tilt-a-whirl. Just hold on.
And if you want the scrambler, we'll put you on the dry cycle.
let mommy just disable the hatch safety mechanism to be
Right. Hey, no, we didn't have that shit back in those. God. Now
Then
you,
everybody's
like,
smoking inside too. It's like,
yeah.
so weird for me to watch movies from the 70s and early 80s where everybody's smoking literally everywhere. Airports, hospitals.
This was the late 90s, right? Okay, so, or the late 80s. So, like I said, the
Mid-80s.
credits say 87.
I believe it was shot around 85 or 86 is when they actually made it.
Right. So, yeah, if they give it a credit of like 87, yeah, it's 85, 86. But I don't feel like I saw a lot of people smoking back, but I was a kid. And so maybe it was one of those things where it's like, okay, the
seemed
teachers
normal.
are all smoking, but they're like in a concealed room or something.
Oh God, even in high school here, like you'd get the little corner stores that were like sprinkled intermittently between towns, and you'd go in there and there's the old swinging dick club taking around smoking tons of cigarettes. And
Oh,
it's
no,
like
no. But I
really
just mean
small
like,
fog.
I mean, hospitals, schools, you know, like those types of things.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't mean like, yeah, just like restaurants and that kind of, yeah. I mean, we would chain smoke till the fucking roosters crowed. But yeah, like those, like when you see like the doctor, like, you know, gives the guy a light, you know, I don't know that I ever saw that. But again, I don't know that was, but then again, at that point in time, I think we still had like smoking sections on an airplane.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Right. When you're in a recirculated air vessel.
Smoke them if you got them.
Mm-hmm. I remember being on one and like they had these curtains, like where the smoking section was, like, and
That
even
guy protects
then,
it.
like even then, like, aren't we all like? Isn't it just like we're just all breathing the same like 3 liters of oxygen the whole time?
I'm
Went through
sure
a little
Tobacco
filter.
Man would have a lot to say about this.
He would.
Yeah.
He would. he would have a
Don't
lot.
go to one of them city doctors.
Take off half your fucking face. All right, so back to this movie, back to where we are. I love Lisa's tirade, where it's, basically they're like, we are fucked, and she's just like calling out every single one of them, like, you're not doing shit, you're not doing shit, blah, blah, blah. I put Andy in charge because Andy's the only one who seems to be level-headed. Andy, what are we gonna do?
And of course, he immediately dies.
Yes.
But not before spraying the zombie in the face
Yes.
with deodorant.
Yeah. Well, or is that deodorant or like bug spray?
Antiperspirant or?
No, it's his deodorant.
Oh.
He's like super obsessed with his deodorant throughout the film.
Which I noticed this when we did this in the Micah Madness. This was actually a Patreon request from someone named Blade Bleppard.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yeah. Or Clade Kleppard. I can't remember his name. But Andy, when he dies, like when he's alive, he's got on the same shit, different day t-shirt, short sleeve t-shirt. His death, he's got on a long sleeve t-shirt that's like saying like piss, shit, blah, blah. I don't even know what it all says, but I noticed that before. Yeah, like let's just say his dummy has on a completely different shirt. But I think that
that's the gag with him throughout is his shirt is constantly changing every time you see him.
Yeah, I mean, I think that goes with the movie.
I'm pretty sure that was all intentional.
It was again in the commentary.
What? Oh, they didn't. It wasn't.
They were talking about it.
Yeah.
I love gags like that.
I interviewed Ed Bishop. I actually went to his house and interviewed him.
That's awesome.
Who played Junior and was, the kind of co-writer, co-producer of the film. And Ed was he was awesome. And yeah, I believe he was telling me about that story. Yeah. Really nice guy. We'll eventually do an SOV, the True Independence episode on him. That's another interview. I have about 6 hours of footage with Ed Bishop. Awesome. Dude. Awesome guy.
But this is where Bob starts to shine.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I wish I was home. Toto.
Oh,
I love the more
God.
frightened he gets, the bigger his wig.
His hair is like, yes, I love it. And this is the other scene that would make me run this movie incessantly, and that's Bob's autopsy scene.
Not pre-med, pre-vet.
Because we find out he's taking acid.
Yes.
Earlier in the day.
Which you don't blame him. He just found his girlfriend like half eaten or whatever. He doesn't know. I thought I hit my high an hour ago.
I couldn't have known this was going to happen.
Oh, dude, but his, and this is maybe a little too long. I will give it that. His trip/autopsy. I will, but he likes.
Love it.
I love it. Like he's picking up pieces of like the colon or liver or whatever. He's like, some poor Appalachian man's wandering around without a shoe, and like in his mind he's holding a shoe, but and he's talking inside the chest cavity. Hello.
What's an amusement park in here? I won't climb in just yet.
That whole scene is like, okay, what are your guys' favorite parts of that? Because that whole scene, like, to me is just like, I just stopped taking notes because I'm just watching the glory that is Bob pre-vet.
Yeah, I like that he just keeps on making that distinction.
Yeah. This is where Bob steals the movie to me. I mean, he totally kind of steals the movie at this point to me. Bob
he grabs like
so
a little
funny.
piece of something and he thinks it's like a little stuffed animal. He's like, well, I'm gonna put this in my pocket. Go ahead.
And he discovers that aluminum chlorohydrate is the.
All right. Okay. So I have gone down this rabbit hole a few times. Tony, you and I are roughly the same age, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
Blade and Maddie are a little younger. Okay.
little bit, maybe.
This is directly from a commercial where they would take, there was like 2 black strips of paper, and I guess they must have been wet, and they would
Side
put
A, side B. Yep.
side A, side B, and they would put the deodorant on the one. Look, it leaves it wet and sticky. The other one is like, look, it leaves it clean and dry. And every time I watch this movie, I try to find what commercial that is, and I cannot find it.
It's funny because I totally forgot about that, but I know what you're talking about now.
No,
yeah.
I mean that's totally like,
But it's totally like that,
it
yeah.
was in the ethos. They were mocking that commercial. I mean, it seems like there were tons of them. There were a lot of that kind of thing.
There's so many jokes like that, yeah.
But back in the 80s, they would have like, the 2 things, and they would put like, antacid A in this bottle and antacid B.
Oh, that even goes back to like the 40s and the 50s early marketing. It's like, detergent A versus detergent B.
Right.
Gets
And
clothes whiter.
I cannot figure out. So I was like, I went down the rabbit hole again today. And
Watching deodorant commercials.
yes, raise your hand.
Nice.
You know it. Raise your hand.
It's yours.
You got it. You feel confident, secure. Yeah, like I'm like, oh no, and get a little closer with air it extra dry. I'm like, oh my god, but I could not find that, and I want to say it was like Speed Stick.
Yeah, I don't
That,
remember.
I don't know, but this is like a super clever joke if you were in that era. And I can't even find the reference for it.
If someone can find that for Rebecca, I will send you a free DVD. I will send you a free DVD. If someone's listening
that's
and
a
can
deal.
figure that out for Rebecca, I will send you a free DVD. That's only good for the first person, by the way. But
Yeah.
I just think it's fucking hilarious that deodorant is used to dispatch the fucking rednecks.
Amazing.
and now it melts them.
Right.
Extra dry.
Right. Yeah, like it doesn't just, disarm them or whatever. It actually like melts them into green goo.
It's so hilarious, yeah. That is deodorant that kills the redneck zombies. Yeah.
So, okay, Slade, what is it that the element is?
It is aluminum chlorohydrate, I believe, was what they said.
Putting that in my memory bank.
Just in case you have to deal with these zombies.
You never know, man.
Well, they don't put aluminum
That's
in
what I'm
a lot of
saying.
deodorants now, I think.
Well, what's
Right?
hilarious, and it kind of hit me now that we're in 2020, all these rednecks and all the flannel, like this could be called hipster zombies now. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Like Junior totally has the look,
Dirty,
Yeah.
smelly yuppies and
Crazy 30
oversized
years.
glasses
will
with
do.
beards.
Like, I bet you like a good mocha latte with like, an extra shot of espresso, don't you, Junior?
I'm progressive.
It's real good.
Add in a little fertilizer and we got
Right.
something going. All right. So yeah, that is the other scene that I absolutely adore and that I always think of. But Ellie Mae comes home after all the deliveries and Ma's a zombie, and I have Perky looks like a muffin. Like, no, Perky, no.
Like, just Perky's just obliterated.
Yeah.
But you can see enough snout and like hooves to know it's Perky. Oh, poor Perky. Okay, let's just take a moment of silence for Perky. Oh, okay, so
That
this is
wasn't
like
much of a moment of silence.
Yeah.
no, it wasn't. Okay, so we're going on. Yeah. Okay, so I have gay
Yeah,
soldier
fuck
says
Perky.
it's a
You're
native.
so
Oh, hello.
insensitive, Rebecca.
Like I was ready to go 30 seconds or something, and you just started laughing and talking.
Hey, you know what? I edit this
commit to
bitch,
it.
Maddie. I
Oh,
can put 30
so you can
seconds
add
in and
the
make myself
silence.
look good. I can even put like, yeah, some
Podcast
tap
magic.
in the background.
Put in taps. Just
Yes. R.I.P. Perky. So this is basically like our big breakdown, right? These are the kinds of things I don't ever take like notes on. Like, I mean, there's so much going on. I'm just going to let you guys, if you have details, just go with it. But basically, like, all of the people who have drank the Kool-Aid, so to speak, are now coming back to this one clearing with these four poor people with some deodorant cans.
I've totally, I don't know why I haven't mentioned him yet, but yes, the drinking guy.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
God.
trick
Do
guys
we even
with
get
the
his
So
name? I feel like we don't even get his
innocuous.
name in the movie.
No, he's so
he doesn't
innocuous.
have any lines really. He just
I don't think
drinks.
he says anything.
No
No,
lines. He just drinks.
He's
Drinks.
amazing. He's my spirit animal.
There
Right.
we go. Oh. Spirit Animal, now available on DVD. Sort
Last
of.
week in 2020.
Throughout the whole movie, he's just shown drinking various amounts of alcohol with no lines whatsoever.
Yeah,
in
and
the
he
film.
doesn't smoke the stuff. He doesn't drink the moonshine. Like, when that's what he could do, because he even like looks at it when they're like finding it. He kind of shrugs and like just has this like wild turkey and just takes a shot.
Well, this group zombie scene is great too because he probably polishes off like 4 or 5 bottles during it.
Yes.
And
Each time they
uses them
show him,
as
he's polishing off a new one.
And like, what's the what? He's got like a bottle of champagne, and like, I mean, he's got at least. They make it very obvious that like it's not like the same bottle of whiskey the whole time. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes it's vodka, sometimes it's champagne, sometimes it's whiskey.
And I don't think he's wearing a backpack in it either. So they're just kind of pulled out from out of nowhere.
Right.
Hey, you know what? Alcoholics are very crafty. He probably has his. Never mind. So the budget, the one thing I did read about the budget was so low that there was only one candy breakaway bottle, even though he uses about like 5 or 6 on them. So I kind of wonder, like, I was trying to watch that knowing it. Like, there was the one where he just flat out like comes at the zombie with like,
Yes, the green one.
That-
Yeah.
That's got to be like the one that was the candy bottle, but it's like, good on you that you didn't stab anybody with all that.
And Bob shows his true colors during the zombie
No.
Oh
fight.
gosh. Pretending to be the zombie.
It's so great.
Way before Shaun of the Dead did it.
Yeah,
This
way before.
But then he like runs off and they do that like comical, like, silent movie, like fast forward. Like, oh, Bob. But yeah,
Does
like,
anyone else notice there's one zombie I am always like obsessed with when I watch this movie. And the only way I can describe this zombie is it looks like what's her face from Poltergeist, the older lady, the kind of midget older lady.
yeah, like
And-
there's one like kind of midget zombie. I'm
She
sorry,
looks
small person.
I never
There's a
noticed.
zombie who reminds me of her, who looks so weird that I'm always captivated by every time I watch this movie and this scene in particular.
Man, I want to go back right now and just watch the zombies because I want to know if like Duct Tape Girl, I want to know
The baby
like
shows up. And
Yeah, the baby
Yeah.
shows up.
I
Yeah,
have the
this
movie
is-
playing now where we're talking. so-
okay.
What are you talking
So-
about?
Baddies in charge here. No, there is one that's like a really short person that I noticed this
Like a
is kind
short
of
lady-looking zombie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I see who you mean, and you're not wrong. And now I can't unsee it.
Yes.
I'm gonna go
Okay,
look
Maddie,
at
it's your
later.
homework.
Here
To
I am. Here
I
I
am.
am.
identify every zombie in this movie.
And that's what's really cool too, is there is, for such a low budget film, they got a nice amount of zombies in it,
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
but if you watch
Indoors.
the credits, most of them have the last names of the director, the producer. It's like Alyssa Lunez, and Still, I mean, you know, if you can get your friends and family to do it,
Oh, for sure.
it's a big
That's
deal.
how you do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, like if you watch the credits, because I did that on purpose, there's like, you know, zombies. They had like, and then they were like feature zombies, and they were like super special thanks or something. They had like a bunch of different levels of like obvious family members and friends who had like done multiple things on there, which is awesome. I love that. So we do kind of our pinnacle here. Our climax is when Wilbur gets ganged up on and dies. Super awesome death and effects. I mean, for us, not just for SOV, I think just for the time in general. I think Wilbur's death and the continued feeding on his body. And again, they like to just take out the innards and they don't want the legs and the butt.
They just pull them away, get rid of
Yeah.
them.
The effects for this are amazing.
Yeah,
They really are.
they are.
Well, like I said, Pericles Lunas and Ed Bishop, both of them, you know, they both went on to do effects for quite a few movies.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Like they did like a couple of the Toxies, right? Or at least
yeah,
Paradise
Toxic
Lost.
Avenger 2 and 3, I believe. And I know they both also did another movie we should talk about someday, Michael Mifumi's Axum. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that.
Fuck! I love
I've got
Axum
Axum.
so much. I would love to talk more about Axum. You got me so excited. I love Axum. So
Well, they both worked on that. They did the effects on that
I
movie.
did not know that, but
Yeah, they told me a lot
I-
of cool
I-
stories about that
Axum.
one.
I just want to talk about that Yo Mama battle in the beginning of that movie.
We
I
know what
love that
Maddie's
movie.
next fix is.
Yes. Yes.
I didn't realize that was SOV though.
You know, it's actually 16 millimeter, but some of it was shot on DV. So
Oh.
I guess technically you could say it is SOV.
And you know,
Kinda, sorta.
we are kind of like lenient here. If it was like 16 like anybody who was shooting on a lesser quality format than what was accepted at the time, sort of kind of qualifies here. But
Yeah,
that
we-
doesn't
we
go
set-
with the SOBs who love SOV. I mean, like
And we set the
Well,
standard.
the first
like, when
episode
we
you guys
first
did was
yes,
was,
we did the
basement.
basement.
The
Yes.
basement.
Yeah.
The basement was awesome.
If you
Anyway.
shot it on Super 8, you shot it on 16 millimeter when everybody else was doing like, 35. We're going to give you a little bit of a. We figure it's the same kind of.
Give a nod. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of like feeling, same kind of fan base.
I'd
You know what
love
I
to do
mean?
the Abomination sometime.
I love the
16
Abomination.
millimeter. Yeah.
And we'll have to do lunch meat, even though, yeah,
Mm.
it's not technically SOV.
So many good movies.
Yes.
Too many. So, okay, I'm going to reel this back in and I'm going to say, so this is Slade's favorite SOV. We did Killer Nerd for Maddie. We did Video Violence 1 and 2 for me. Tony, what's your pick going to be for like your quintessential SOV?
Oh shit. Well,
Yeah, put you on the spot, buddy.
you know, I got two that immediately come to mind, and I probably have to lean towards Goblin by Todd Sheets. I think
We can
I want
get
to-
him.
be my pick. It's a close tie with Blood Lake, though. It's a very close tie with Blood Lake.
Ooh. No,
But
we
I feel
can get.
Goblin doesn't get enough love, so
Okay, well, we can get Todd on here and he will like berate you for loving that movie.
you know, I've been telling Todd for years that I love Goblin. I've been bugging Todd for years to let me put out a special edition DVD of Goblin. And you know, maybe we can finally convince him that the world needs that and wants that.
I think
Yeah.
we can do that.
Well, like when Rebecca was
That
kind
was
of
my first Todd Sheets movie. So
It's mine too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Zombie
And
Bloodbath was mine.
I think that like when we did the interview with Todd, Rebecca, like when I was taking and saying that I like Goblin, he was
And he
like,
was like,
why?
He hates that movie, yeah.
Yeah.
It'd probably be worse, though, if you told him your favorite was Sorority Babes and the Dance-a-thon of Death.
Or
No.
That's what I haven't
Or
Or
actually
Prehistoric
seen.
Bimbos.
Prehistoric Bimbos. Yeah, I think that's another one that he does not like. But, I mean,
He wants to redo Goblin, but
Well, there's been talks about that. Yeah, I actually know the guy who rewrote a script for him for that, and I highly doubt that's ever going to happen, that one, unfortunately.
Well, maybe we have to do that. But Blood Lake, okay, it's summertime. We've got to do Blood Lake.
We need some little Tony. I mean,
Everybody needs some little Tony in their lives.
I got my beer. I got my sex partner. What do you want?
Right. Okay, I'm not kidding, you guys. This is bad confessions from Rebecca. Dude, I dated a guy who was just like little Tony. Like at that age, he wore like the Vornay shirt. His name was I don't even know what his real name was. His last name was Wessler, so everybody called him Weasel. Looked just like little Tony. I didn't realize it till yes, Weasel. So like the same freaking guy. Okay, I'm hanging my head in shame now, kids.
What was the other movie, Tony?
Well, no, I said Blood Lake or Goblin.
Oh,
Those
Blood
would
Lake
kind
or
of be
Goblin.
my
Which we can do
ties.
totally both of those. Totally.
Yeah. They're both awful.
God.
Mhm.
So getting back to this movie, I mean, we're just at the end. Like, there's this like big bloodbath. And
We're at
then
the
we
big
have
final bloodbath. Yeah, I mean, this is when shit gets really crazy and gory.
Yeah.
And
The
super
showdown at the
awesome.
cabin.
Right, and the drunk guy gets all badass, yeah, and then like Lisa ends up being our final girl. So
And what do you guys think of Lisa? She's so great in these final scenes. I mean, to me,
Yeah.
Lisa is like a great final girl. Like,
She's
you
awesome.
know, her. Yeah, I think
Very
her
intense.
acting's very solid. It's very intense. Yes, I mean, she sells the hell out of this ending.
Well, and we also get to see the aftermath. It's the thing we don't see with the final girl. You go through all that shit. You're not just going to wake up the next day and be like, I'm going to go back to school or whatever. Like, I mean, you see like what it breaks her down to. And the fact in the beginning, they're even talking about what happened up there. It's like, I don't know, but it sure fucked her up kind of thing,
Must
you
be
know?
the epitome of horror.
Yes. Right. Like, I mean, you're not going to be like, I mean, we kind of got it a little like Friday the 13th part 3, like Chris is going like kind of crazy getting in the cop car. You can figure, yeah, she's never going to be the same again.
Yeah.
But like, none of these final girls are going to be okay. And like, we get to see that.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have some PTSD, especially with the just the hammer scene in the just the death scenes in the cabin are brutal.
Sure.
That's why.
And the
I'm
intensity on her eyes, you know, there's one shot in there where it's kind of a close up on her face, and you just see the intensity in her eyes, and what I mean is she just sells it so hard.
Yeah, in the cabin, what we've got Junior, Grant,
We got Ma.
Ma and Paul, and
Ellie Mae.
Ellie Mae, sadly.
Yeah. R.I.P. Ellie Mae. Insert 30 seconds of taps. There we go.
Death by spoon.
But like she's killing Ma with like, and I'm gonna say it with the wrong side of the knife. Am I right? I'm thinking this
probably.
I'm thinking this is kind of a Friday thing. Like, yeah, like I'm pretty sure, and they really focus on it. Like, seems like she's killing her with the wrong side of the knife. But when you're cutting through latex, the wrong side of the knife probably does it.
Yeah.
And the boiling water for Paul, and that brutal hammer.
Yeah, the hammer to the head.
Oh,
And then spoon to the head for Ellie Mae with the green goo.
I love that.
Ellie Mae.
You gotta love any movie that has a zombie spitting out, green goo, bodily function, fluid.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of bodily fluids, after the
Bob?
shotgun kill.
Oh yes,
no,
yeah.
I was gonna say Bob was a puker, but yeah.
Bird and Lisa's final
Ferd and-
scene.
Yeah, Ferd and Lisa. As she's escaping the cabin after she's dispatched all the zombies, and then all of a sudden Ferd shows up and decides that he's still love times.
That has to be the fastest rape scene in history, though. Like it literally it takes about 20 seconds to occur, and you're like, did anyone get their pants off? Like,
I don't know if I've seen any zombies raping a person in a
Nope,
film
versus
since.
zombies.
It's
Yeah.
happening.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Nope.
like, it's happening.
Zombies.
But
Yeah.
Redneck Zombies was probably the first.
That's correct.
Probably.
Probably.
I
Unless
don't
there's
know. We'd have to
some-
research that one, kids.
some
I
obscure
feel like there was
85,
something.
86.
I'm feeling like there was something 70s.
Yeah, some
Something
obscure Italian zombie film.
Yes,
Probably.
exactly. That's what I'm
Well,
thinking.
even
It's like,
the Italian stuff, that was more like early 80s, so, it's almost contemporary.
Yeah.
but not quite. I mean, I'm thinking
The Zombies,
like,
what, 81?
I'm thinking
and
like
that kind of started the
Dr.
Italian trend.
Butcher MD or something. Like one of those had something kind of weird sexual with the zombie thing. I'm thinking.
Well, there's the kid in Burial Ground who bites off his mom's teeth.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's not really rape.
Yeah,
Okay, we're
that's-
okay.
yeah.
That's still an
Closest
amazing
I
Everybody.
can think
Yeah.
of.
movie.
That's one
Everybody,
that doesn't
this
get
is our
brought up
homework.
enough. I love Burial Ground. That's one of
That
these.
sounds amazing. I got the Blu-ray. So good.
Yeah, that Severn Blu-ray is good.
So good.
And then we have our hero emerge after the corn cob.
Hero.
The corn cob to
Back
the
on
eye.
its back.
That's back a man taking and coming in and saving the day and dragging her off to the institute for
For the viciously abused, everybody.
At least he didn't take her to the big city doctor,
That's true. True. But at the very end, we already know that poor Lisa is like a vegetable, just like, "Huh." But then we get to see the drunk guy is okay.
He's just missing his arms and his legs, I think.
He can still read his Fangoria and drink his booze.
That's all that matters.
Right.
Yep.
And poor Lisa has a zombie baby
One in the oven.
growing inside of her.
Which, does that not suggest they wanted a sequel?
It seems like they did.
And there is a sequel to this movie, an unofficial
Wait,
sequel.
what?
Yes, there's an unofficial sequel. I believe it's on YouTube. I think it's called Return of the Redneck Zombies or something like that. I'll be honest, I've never watched it, but I know it exists.
What? I'm gonna have to take a look at that.
Yeah.
It's pretty much a fan film, I believe. I believe it was made in the early 2000s, and I ran across it on YouTube at one point.
Blade, you can take that bullet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of sequels, sorry, shameless self-plug, sequels that start with a baby from the end of one, Carousel 2.
Yes.
Hello, everybody. Everybody needs to give to this movie. The sequel is going to be so awesome. Trust me, I've read the script. I'm in it. You don't even have to trust me for that. But as I started reading and I'm a huge fan of the first one. That's how I even got invited to audition. But first 2 pages, I was like, holy shit, yes.
Steve Rudzinski is a great guy, amazing filmmaker, one of my favorite people in the film industry. I'm so excited.
Yes.
Love that
So,
guy.
Totally can vouch for that. I met him at Horror Hound with and picked up the Blu-ray Carousel there. He's a cool guy.
He's awesome.
and everybody give to it to make my dream come true. It's like full circle.
It's like all of our dreams, though.
Yes.
Mostly yours, but we all want to see this happen.
Well, but he was the first filmmaker I ever interviewed. And a year later, I'm cast in the sequel of the movie that I absolutely loved that I interviewed him about. So come on, kids. Come on.
I went to the premiere at that at the South Side Theater in Pittsburgh. So good.
So good. All right. So say.
By the way, I looked it up. It is called Return of the Redneck Zombies. It is on YouTube.
Oh, boy. How long is it Tony.
Now I got-
How long?
It's an hour and 10 minutes. It's from 2012.
Holy
Mine
crap!
That's
Like I said, I have no
probably
idea if it's good. I haven't
well,
watched it, so I'm not endorsing it. I'm just mentioning it
Matt,
exists.
Right.
Matt, if you decide to watch it, let me know, and we'll take and suffer together.
Maybe this could,
Yeah, we
this
need
is
a,
what we need to
like-
start doing. We actually need to start having some watch parties.
Yeah.
Like just the four of us and
Yeah.
just like, our commentary as we do them.
I
mean,
might
we've
have
been-
a commentary project for us down the line, by the way, guys.
Oh, yeah. Mhm. I mean, we've been sitting here talking about this for 2 hours. We could have just as easily been watching the movie and just talking about it. But all right,
Hours, 14
let's-
minutes.
There's no room to ramble, though.
Yeah, it's true. We just have to pause. Like, pause it, everybody. Let's just like.
no room for hitchhikers.
Oh, by the way,
Hitchhiker Slade.
yes. By the way, I'm like, when I was watching this and the hitchhiker thing came, I'm like, I can't believe like Slade still picked up that one hitchhiker, because that hitchhiker seems much more akin to the hitchhiker you picked up.
This is what I wanted to take and elaborate on, but I didn't want to take and like go on for too much. In southeastern Kentucky, everything is like super spread out, right? And it's lots of mountainous areas, and it's not a big population. So if you have a breakdown somewhere, or if your car is fucked up for whatever reason, your ass is walking. And because when I was a teenager, there's only the rich, like super rich people had the bag phones and stuff. So I had been stranded several times prior with my dad and by myself, and my car tearing up, and you'll sit there for hours and not see anybody. Like nobody will drive by, just coal trucks. And if somebody's walking on the side of the road, they're usually trying to get to like a corner store, or they're trying to get home from somewhere,
Or
where
they're
they've
just
been
trying
dropped
to sharpen your goddamn knife.
off. Or that destroyed my desire to take and pick up any hitchhikers after that. So people still
don't like
hitchhike
it.
back home
No, I do
even
get it.
now. They still hitchhike home now.
I can't believe anybody hitchhikes now.
Yep.
But
So I picked up some very
yeah,
interesting and colorful people in my years of taking
colorful
in.
like red.
It's just yeah.
All right, kids. We're hitting the 2-hour mark. Let's rate this mofo. We're going to start with Maddie. And we're going on the 5-point system, right?
As
The
far as
Livermore.
I know, and we're doing 0 to 5, not 1
Yeah,
to 5.
I guess.
0
Yeah.
to 5.
That's what we decided last time. I think I was very drunk last time.
You were, and you were so super fun.
Aw, probably more fun than
I
now.
love- I love drunk
You're
Maddie.
always fun, Maddie.
Yeah, no, you're
Aw,
always fun,
thank
but
you.
I love drunk Maddie. All
We
right,
love
Maddie.
both iterations.
All right,
Yes.
Thank you,
buzzed
Slade.
Maddie. Yes,
I
buzzed
am going to
Maddie.
give this 4.5 out of 5. Only because I think, as we discussed earlier, they could have cut probably a good 10 minutes out. It runs a little too long, but regardless, as we already discussed, amazing characters, great one-liners, amazing gore. It's a great movie, but I think they could have cut a little bit out. So we'll go 4.5 out of 5.
Okay, I'm going to chime in because I'm going to say the same. Yeah, there were a
Of
couple little
course,
things.
copycat.
I know, right? I wanna be like Maddie. No, same kind of thing. Like, I mean, a couple of the things were long. Even when I watched this, I still love it, but like there are a couple times where I kind of tune out and start looking at my phone, and it's like, so I can't give it a perfect, but yes, I'm going for a 4.5. Tony Masiello, what do you say?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and be a rebel, and I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 5. I think this movie is so amazingly great. I can hear what you guys are saying, that there are a couple slow scenes, but I think on rewatch value, And I mean, I've probably watched this movie 100 times at this point. I mean, I first saw it when I was 13 and I'm pushing 40. So, you know, it's a great movie. I mean, it's so much fun. I think it's a really good gateway SOV for people who aren't familiar with the genre to kind of maybe get your friends into SOV who aren't into it. Tons of great gore. I mean, amazing characters, great one-liners. I mean, 5. This is definitely a 5 to me.
All right, Slade, what say you?
Yeah, it's a 5. It's definitely 5.
What a surprise!
I know. It better be, because it's your pick.
I know. I made the little caveats at the start, just saying, oh, it's, you know, the editing, you know, and some slow spots and stuff like that. But it's like every favorite film that I have, there are elements that I nitpick of it, and I still consider them perfect films because I don't think that they're a quintessential perfect film does exist. But in the realm of shot on video, this is a 5 out of 5 for me. It hits all the buttons. It's delightfully weird and strange and wonderful with bright, very colorful characters, and I just love it. So, yeah, 5 out of 5. Easily.
Can anybody sing the ending song to Redneck Zombies? That's my favorite one, I think. Like, I can't even remember how it goes. I just know, like, that end one that the girl sings. I like that one.
I can sing Ellie Mae's song that he sings while he's delivering the ain't got no shoes, ain't got no shoes. My grandpa's dead, ain't got no shoes.
Hey, I think I heard that song the other day when I was in an Uber with a guy who was driving with no mask.
Call the lawyers now. Call the lawyers now, Pericles.
Yeah. All right, guys. So this has been the SOBs who love SOV, and we will come back with, we have myriad choices now. It might be a few weeks. By the way, we have a future SOV lover on the way.
Oh,
right?
Yep. Yeah, we do.
Yes, we won't make Samantha watch any more SOVs until she has the baby.
Yep.
And the baby has to have an SOVhorror.com onesie.
Yes, I would very much like that, or at the least a little button or something on the or no, I got it.
No, you can't do that.
I can make a carousel with little VHS cassettes.
Oh, like a mobile.
A mobile.
Yeah, mobile is whatever the hell they're called. So I don't know anything about. I don't know nothing about birthing no babies.
Yeah, you're like a button. Wait, I can't put a pin on my kid.
Literally, like next to nobody in my family had children, so I know nothing about little babies and like all the equipment that comes along with them. So I'm learning.
Yeah,
well, if you've learned anything from tonight's movie, you keep the baby inside the washing machine and you share the moonshine with them, Slade, and I'm sure they'll come out great.
You would not believe how common that is for to give babies whiskey and shit back home.
My nephew,
when they're teething,
Yes, and teeth.
My nephew, he used to love a little bit, like about a quarter of his cup, Tommy Tippy cup, and beer. The rest of it with water. Yeah, he used to drink that all the time.
He's a lightweight then.
It's
taking double shots to make that baby go to fuck to sleep. I ain't gonna be doing that, but that's shit that happens back home, and I'm just like, good God, developing alcoholics really early in life.
Yeah, dependency is, whatever. All right, guys. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Nerd.
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 This is Kirby signing out.